Hola a todos. Welcome back to That Atleti Podcast. Jeremy Beren here with you. On the show today, we have our first returning guest. Pete from Glorious Botafogo is making his glorious return to the program. He's going to talk to us about Thiago Almada, Atlético de Madrid's newest signing, who had a quite memorable one-season stint at Botafogo in Brazil. So Pete is going to tell us all about Almada, the kind of player he is, his strengths, his weaknesses, and what he can add as we continue to build a pretty fascinating team for season 2025-26. You're not going to want to miss this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to That Atleti Podcast. Jeremy and Ricky here with you as ever. Joining us today is, I think, our first returning guest, Pete from Glorious Botafogo, the YouTube channel. He's back on the program. How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Excited to talk to you guys, especially post-Club World Cup, right?
Yeah.
We faced off, I think, for the third or fourth time in history, and it's first loss for Botafogo, so I wasn't very happy about that. But glad to be back, man.
You said you didn't want to face Palmeiras in the next round, and that's what happened, though.
Yeah, that's why. If we had just kept the tie, man, if somebody had paid attention and marked Griezmann, we wouldn't have been on the spot today.
You guys have a new coach now, is that right? Davide Ancelotti, isn't it?
We got that coward out of there, man. I have a freaking coward treating Palmeiras like it was PSG.
And Tevenet from Atlético Madrid youth system is going as an assistant coach, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you're getting a hell of a coach. In case you don't want the first one, you can keep the assistant coach. He's probably much better option for us from our.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Ancelotti Jr.
Now you're getting a little bit of the best of two of the top coaching trees in Europe. I mean, you're getting the assistant coach of Real Madrid, and Tevenet has been working for Simeone for the entire year, and has been doing an excellent job with the youth system. But so let me make a little bit of sense, because at least here in Madrid, we're feeling that the Almada move is a little bit of a steal, and it does feel like it doesn't seem a wise choice to let a player like that move on. What are the reasons that you see behind? Is it just money, or is there something more strategic that maybe the cash flow that
I think it's a bunch of different factors, man. I don't know if you guys were aware, but on Thursday night, in the middle of the night, like at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, Aries Management and Eagle Football Holding Management tried to oust John Textor from the whole thing.
Well, you know that Aries Management is said to have a very, very strong hand over the ownership of Atlético Madrid, and they're always rumored to be the hand that's moving the cradle and is interested in purchasing the entirety of Atlético's ownership in the future.
So yeah, that's why at first Botafogo and Atleti had even talked about this partnership, that Botafogo is going to build this state-of-the-art youth training center in Brazil that was going to have Atleti's name alongside the promoters of this partnership. It was going to be Botafogo, Atlético Madrid, and maybe 2 or 3 other clubs, where with Botafogo being the host of that program, they would be all the ones bringing in all of these super talented players in hopes that they would come here knowing that they would have teams like Atlético Madrid and Olympique Lyonnais as a stepping stone. You're right there to the European clubs. And I don't know what's going to happen now, because Textor is having a falling out with Aries. And that's largely due to some of the models that Textor tried to implement at Olympique Lyonnais, this multi-club thing that he's trying to do. This Almada deal didn't just happen a month ago. This has been happening since January. Mm-hmm. These talks have been happening for a long time. So I think it started back then. And I don't know if it was a way for John Textor to trying to ease things with Aries and trying to here's my token of appreciation, because
so you would say it's a move to appease Aries in a certain
it could be. I'm just guessing, right? I don't know.
Here's 20 million euros.
I don't know, but
I mean,
it's 20 for a certain percentage, right? It's not 20 for the whole. Right.
And then there have been a few conflicting reports on when the other half of that percentage is due.
I think it's like if Almada activates certain clauses based on performance.
I'm always happy to pay those fees. I mean, if
the player's worth it.
Oh yeah, right. If he's hitting the metrics, then yeah, he's well worth
it's a win-win for everybody.
And Pete, from what we've seen, from highlights of Almada, things I've read about him, this is a player who really might be worth this initial 20 million plus investment with a potential 15-20 million to come down the line.
I grabbed the prop.
Oh, you got a prop for us?
I grabbed the prop. I don't put names of players in shirts because you never know how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Right, it's a really bad idea. But I get numbers. This is the first time I have 23 on any Botafogo jersey. That's my feelings about Thiago Almada.
So he's that good, huh?
He's fantastic. He's amazing.
No, he helped you guys win the Brazilian League. He helped you guys win the Copa Libertadores. Talk to us about the kind of player he is. What is his best position? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? What can we as Atletico fans look forward to with Thiago Almada?
Almada's a facilitator, man. He's going to help your best players be even better. Like, he's so good at finding the extra pass, finding that pass that no one sees, finding the space behind a defender that an average player could never make the pass. You know, he's going to be that guy that even with speed, he can control the ball. So, like, it's like glue. I want Atleti fans to take this with a grain of salt. Obviously, all within its certain appropriate proportions. But, you know, think of like when Messi dribbles the ball, how close he can keep control of the ball. And it doesn't seem like what other people will do, they can't take the ball away from him. Thiago Almada, in a sense, can do that. I think he's a little bit weaker and like in physical challenges. So he's not like Messi that he's going to like, it doesn't matter if it's Van Dijk trying to take the ball from Messi. Somehow Messi still keeps possession of the ball, right? Maybe if a Van Dijk will tackle Almada, perhaps Almada will end up in the stands. But he can keep so like his ball control is absurd. Like it's like absurd. It's so great. He's always thinking like he needs smart teammates. Like he's gonna need teammates with high IQ because if they can't follow his thought process, it's not gonna work. But if he has teammates that can follow and can see like the play, you guys are gonna score a lot of goals.
Well, hell yeah, I like to hear that. we also know he has a connection with Julian Alvarez from the Argentina national team. I'm excited to see that.
Him and Julian Alvarez, they're so good together. So I don't blame Thiago for making this move because one, he's going to play in a league that I think suits his style very well. I think he's going to play with a manager that will know exactly how to play him. And he's going to play with people that he already knows. Too bad. I don't know how you guys feel about DePaul. He's
not our favorite on the program. Let's say that.
Okay, then we share that feeling. He's not my favorite player either, but I figured that if he had stayed, it would have been another guy that he already knows and plays. But you guys have other like super smart players as well on your roster. So if he can come in, dude, and put in the shirt and the weight of the Athletic shirt doesn't weigh him down, I'm excited for you guys.
His best role, what would you say is his best role? Is it just behind a striker? Is it in midfield? Is it partnering somebody else? What would you say to that?
At Botafogo, he played a little bit of this like left mid, left center attacking mid. He's not really a winger. He plays best, you know, in between the half and the 18. You know, that's where he shines right there. That's home for him. You know, every now and then he will step into the box and he will score a goal. Or he will take a long shot and will score a long shot. Every time he got the ball, I'm like, please shoot, please shoot, please shoot, please shoot. Because he's so good at those long shots, you know? He can curl them in all day. If he and two or three players that link up, like if they can see the same play, he will start the play and he will finish the play, either with an assist or a shot on goal. And that will most likely happen from like the top of the 18 where he comes back and helps, like defensively. Right, because nowadays you have to do that sort of thing. At Botafogo, he did help. He would come sometimes even to our own 18 to help the left back.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's great to know because that'll endear him to Simeone very quickly.
Yeah, he goes all the way back to help if needed, man. Thiago is like that working bee. He's everywhere. He never tires. He's everywhere. He's so good with the ball. Not the strongest physically, but man, does he make up for it with dribbling and IQ. Like, I think his best quality is how intelligent and how smart he is. That's already more than half the battle.
Yeah, man, we're running a little bit low on time here. Any parting thoughts you wanna impart regarding Thiago Almada and what Atleti fans can expect from this guy?
Man, like I said, I'm really happy for you guys. I think this is a great signing. I think he fits this league so well. I don't think Almada is a Premier League player. I don't think he was a League One player. He needs to play in a league where creativity and staying true to your tactics and being like smart with the ball will pay off. And that's certainly La Liga. I don't know if you guys have a player like Thiago Almada, and he might just be the difference for you.
Well, we're excited to watch him, man. Pete, thank you so much for coming back on the show, man. Just give our listeners a quick reminder of where they can find you and your work.
Oh, man, check me out on YouTube, Glorious Botafogo. I actually just had an interview with one of Botafogo's greatest strikers of all time, which a very recent name in our history, which is Igor Jesus, which is now in the Premier League playing for Nottingham Forest. He came on to my YouTube channel in partnership with the Forest channel. We did an interview. You can check that there. You can find me on X and Instagram as well, all under Glorious Botafogo.
Pete from Glorious Botafogo, and that ramps up the excitement around Thiago Almada just a little bit more for me, man. This team is starting to take shape. 4 new signings in before the start of preseason. I don't recognize my club anymore. I'm not used to this.
And the rejuvenation. We talked about needing to get the team younger. I think it was Javi Gomara on Mundo Deportivo. He did the math. We're 64 years younger.
Woo! 64.
We let go Axel Witsel, Azpilicueta, Reinildo, Correa. They've left the team.
All players over 30.
The 4 players that have arrived to the team, the players that we've signed are 23 years old, except for Almada, who's 24. And he's recently turned 24. So I can only think of checking the box with mission accomplished in that primary objective of making the team younger, making the team hungry again. And I mean, we've just spoken to P and about how exciting Almada can be, and that profile of a high IQ player. I can't wait to see him be on the squad with Barrios, with Baena, even with Griezmann when he's. Now that the burden of having to carry the weight of the team is out, and I think he's going to be the new Correa. He's going to be that player that comes out in the final minutes to make a difference, and I'm pretty sure that Griezmann's going to accept that role. We're in for an exciting season. I can't wait, quite frankly, and we don't have to wait that much. No, we've got Newcastle right around the corner.
That's right. 3 preseason friendlies, I think confirmed or very nearly confirmed. Newcastle on, I think that's August 9th.
Yes.
We've got a piece about that friendly coming up next week on Into the Calderon, by the way. One of our writers, Dan Sowerby, with some local connections. He's going to tell us a little bit more about that game, that meeting between Eddie Howe and Cholo Simeone. Porto also on the agenda, possibly reuniting with Samuel Agahawa. That friendly is going to be a tribute to Diogo Jota, though, which is very sweet. Very nice.
I hope they do something very nice about that, and the club takes care of business there, because I do feel that in terms of paying tribute, the club hasn't done enough so far, and they can do a little bit more, and I'm sure that they'll probably be up to the challenge when that friendly comes, and it can be an emotional moment for both teams, and a good tribute to a player that always had a soft spot in his heart for Atlético Madrid as well as Porto. It's going to be very nice.
Going back to Atleti's activity entering preseason, I can't get my head around the fact that 4 new players are through the door. I'm just not used to Atletico doing business this speedily, this efficiently.
And now we have Lino's on the chopping block. He definitely seems to be there.
Club needs to make money.
It feels like Atletico are finally cleaning house, and they're not holding back on anyone. And I find it a little bit surprising, because I really thought that Lino was going to have another season to prove his worth. But it does seem that it might make sense to include in one of the upcoming operations.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rodrigo de Paul operation that I really hope is as close as the Argentinian press says, and I can't wait for that to happen.
Well, it's going to be a loan move initially. You saw that
Sorry?
they're loaning
A
him.
loan.
They're loaning him to Inter Miami with an option to buy in January.
It's a weird loan deal because they're signing him for 4 years. So it's like
it's just to get around MLS rules.
We're getting a loan deal, and then we're going to sign you to a 4-year deal. We were grading signings in a previous get together. How would you grade Almada?
Solid B. There's a lot of upside here.
Solid B. Okay, yeah.
Well, what if he doesn't adapt as a starter? You know, I at first I wasn't certain whether he was going to be coming here as a starter. And as we saw last year with Conor Gallagher, Alexander Sørloth, Atlético de Madrid cannot be paying $40 million to stick players on the bench. Can't do that. It's a waste of money. But Almada is the right age profile. Almada he's not a Correa replacement. He's been likened to an Angel Correa replacement. That player, I think this season, I think you're right, it's going to be Griezmann. Longer term, I think it'll be Giuliano Simeone. In terms of the player profile, the way Giuliano attacks the box, the energy that he plays with, this is a guy who's going to be at Atletico for so many years, and he's going to fill that Correa role over a long, long period of time. Griezmann is genuinely going to stay on the bench, man, because Baena is here and Almada is here. Those two guys are snatching his chain, so to speak.
And the element of being content with the role in the club. I mean,
that's huge for Griezmann. That's maturity.
Yeah. You're leaving a very interesting thought there. I hadn't thought of Giuliano being able to fill that role of becoming a late substitution, because I think that Giuliano Simeone's last season is a bit of an abnormality. He rides the wave of a very weak team that really needed that energy boost that that Giuliano provided to the team. But under normal circumstances, his role should be a minor role. It should be a secondary role, but an important one, albeit.
Like the first guy off the bench. I agree. I think Giuliano long term is more of a squad player. Doesn't mean I don't like him. Doesn't mean he's not valuable. He's very valuable.
No. I mean, Giuliano for life. I mean, I could have that super sub role or mantle passed down to Giuliano. But I think in normal club healthy situations, Giuliano shouldn't be your starting option. I mean, it could be during the season when you run into injuries or circumstances or suspensions. Right. You need Giuliano to fill a bigger role. But I think that his current level, maybe he continues to develop as a player as he had this season, should make him a valuable player, but not a starter.
No, I would agree.
That would be the logic of under normal circumstances.
And
what
last
do you think
season,
about the number of abonados? They just published it, 60,925. That's practically the entire Vicente Calderón as season ticket holders.
Yeah,
that's the capacity of the Vicente Calderón. In fact,
love that.
So it's crazy.
We're growing every year, man.
Because I was hoping to get a season ticket. Not anymore.
For you personally,
I have to wait for a season or so, but yeah, I got my socio card. Now,
set the stage.
So this is a live unboxing of the card. I mean, I opened my daughter, so I know exactly what I'm getting here. So when you open it, what you get is a welcome letter where they tell you the benefits. Benefits are on the downward path. You get less and less every year, but it's still juicy. You get like a €30 voucher, 48 hours anticipated ticket sales, 10% if you want to go to the Indy ballpark. It's one of those kid parks. You have priority access to tickets for away games. You get free tickets for Atleti B for the academy teams, for the ladies team, 50% discount to the tour, a 10% discount in the official stores, an assurance that you're going to get a discount. If I unstick this, what you see is my season ticket number. Wow, that's really low. 6,620 is
That is low.
my number, and on the back you get the Uruguayo here. This letter, it comes with a small biography of Diego Forlan, and it unfolds into a poster.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know about that. They didn't send me the card last year. 2 years ago, they did. They didn't send it to me last year.
That. You have to claim that. In fact, I would probably call the club, and maybe they have your card somewhere, and they can give you the Torres one, and that way you can walk away with 2 posters, this year's and last year's.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my card from a couple of years ago. But you know what I could do is I could just open the app and I could say what my number is.
Yeah, it just keeps going
That's
down.
a low number, man. 6,000. When did you first become a socio?
Yeah, the first salary I got, I put it into getting an Atleti season ticket. That was my first salary. Well spent money, indeed. I'm not a season ticket holder anymore. I haven't been for a few years. Parenting got in the way, but I still go to 6 or 7 matches every season. Live.
112, 157 is my number.
112, 157.
It's gone down quite a bit in the last 3 years because I've been a socio since October 2022. That was the first time I was in Madrid. And I went to the stadium to get my card because I had some trouble doing it online. So I actually went to the stadium and filled out the sheet. It took like 30 minutes and I had my socio card.
It's not in the history corner section, but it almost.
We're pretty close, yeah.
I went with the ultrasound of my son to try to get him his socio card. And they told me, yeah, come on, man. Come back in 6 months. They didn't let me get a socio card for an ultrasound.
Listen,
so in case anybody's
ingenious.
interested, you can't do it. I tried.
If any of our listeners are That Atleti and they have children who are on the way,
they're as sick as I am, please do not do that.
So how many years has it been, man? How many years have you been a socio?
I would say I got my emblem for the 25th anniversary last season, but that was 3 or 4 seasons after. I would say it was 1997, maybe. Yeah, 1997.
That's when my brother was born. Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Thanks. I don't feel old at all with that comment.
Listen, we both felt old doing this show in recent weeks. Come on, man. But you mentioned something very interesting there, is that the club will do something special for you if you've been a socio for 25 years, 50 years or more. They'll give you, what will they give you?
They prepare a ceremony.
Yeah, because Alvarez went to the one last year.
Of new socios around that period when Atlético Madrid was in dire straits. The worst things were for Atlético Madrid, the more people showed up to sign up for the socio card. So when Atlético Madrid was going through a rough patch after the doblete that led to the relegation, those are the years where Atlético accumulated more new season ticket holders and Atlético card owners.
Because we are sick. We are sick people.
Yeah, we are sick. Yeah. In history. And so it's in my class happens to be very populous. So they had to do it like in 3 or 4 days. They would call maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people at once. We would go in different waves. Like some of us would go in the mornings, others would go in the evenings. They had players there to welcome you, and you got like a kit with in our case, we got a scarf, commemorative pin, a silver commemorative pin, but I have a logo one. And my next campaign is to get it substituted for a normal crest. There's no way I'm going to wear a logo on a blazer or whatever, because it's one of those that you would wear on a blazer for a special occasion. Other seasons they've given out a jersey. They always give the silver pin. It's like I don't know, with the English national team, the cap tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Tradition in Atlético Madrid is to give silver pins for 25 years, gold pins for 50 years, the socio. So they hold those ceremonies midway, not midway, I would say like 3/4 of a way through each season. It's around spring every year where that happens. And it's during a weekend where there's like an international break or something like that. They can use Metropolitano for that purpose. They give you a tour around. They bring out sometimes the trophies. You can pose with the trophies. It's a very nice ceremony. You hang out. It's normally they award them normally in the same press area, which is like a sort of small theater where Simeone gives his press conference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a special space in the. Have you ever been in that room?
Yeah, it's downstairs on like
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
deep in the basement of the Metropolitano.
Third basement.
Yeah,
and
the
you
third
go
level.
down, yeah.
It's a nice space. It's just really like deep in the bowels of the
They
stadium.
let you walk. They let you walk through the player parking area, so you access areas of the stadium that you normally don't see.
Very cool.
There are tour guides there that are showing you the players that are hung on huge banners inside the parking area, and they talk about the players. They give you a brief history of that. So that's very nice. It's a very nice experience.
That's very
It was
cool.
like one of these match day experience that they're charging people to go on, and that have become so popular in the Metropolitano.
Yeah,
We
we
can talk
talked about that
about
on like the second episode, right? How the club
yeah.
is kind of upcharging those tours, and like you get to
Oh
stand on the
yeah.
pitch, you get to go through the
I mean,
walk of legends, stuff like that.
I was talking to the season that we were moving from the Calderon to the Metropolitano. I was talking to my buddy Javi Gomara. He's the pundit from Mundo Deportivo.
Shout out
Our
Javi.
daughters are the same. Yeah, our daughters are the same age, and he did something that he normally never does. He pulled a string to get his daughter to pose in the picture at the Calderon on one of the last match days. So that was huge, and it was
Very
like,
cool.
man, I signed up like half a year after you did. When do you think they're calling me up? And he said, if I hadn't pulled my if I hadn't asked, if I hadn't cashed in a favor that I never cashed it, if I hadn't cashed this one in, I would be looking at 2019 or 2020, like 2 or 3 years after Atletico moved to the new stadium. And in fact, that's when we got the call. My kids posed with the team before a match. Saúl was super nice to them, and they had that experience. But instead of being a free experience like it was at the Calderon, they had to pay 40 euros for the pre-match picture.
Of
you
course.
see all those little kids at the beginning of the match? Their parents have paid $40 for each of them. So that's quite a deal. So yeah, they're cashing in for everything. I mean, that's a modern club for you. It's the good thing and the bad things about new football. It's like, old school football is the best compared to that.
What you were just saying kind of got me thinking. This is kind of related. How difficult was it, or how easy was it to get your kids to support Atleti? Was there ever any doubt whatsoever?
Oh no.
Good.
I was very intense with that. I could not care less about their politics, or I mean, I'm super respectful with their future choices in politics. No problems with their sexual orientation choices. Only non-negotiable. I mean, you guys are Atleti fans. That's the only thing I'm asking for. The only thing I'm like going to hardwire into your little brains. And fortunately, they've enjoyed being Atleti fans and going against the grain, because it's quite difficult to be an Atleti fan sometimes in Madrid in such a Real Madrid dominated area. Fortunately, I live in Carabanchel. It's a very Atletico friendly neighborhood. It's tied to Atleti tradition. San Isidro the park belongs to this neighborhood, and that's right across the river from where Vicente Calderon was. So we're like next door neighbors to Vicente Calderon, and it's rooted in Atleti tradition. So very happy with the neighborhood I live in. But in other neighborhoods, it's not the same ratio of Real Madrid versus Atleti fans.
You're in a good spot.
Yeah,
Suffice to
this
say.
is completely not connected, but I forgot to bring it up when we were talking about Almada. Can I
Yeah, I was going to
tell
ask
a
you to
small
grade him, but
story?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah, grade him. I would go for an A because
Wow.
I
And
just
you're a
think
harsh grader.
there's so much upside to him, and I think that component of keeping Julian Alvarez happy on the team, there's a lot of it there. Having Almada as a secret weapon, a kid that's born on the 26th of April, that's been saying that
Literally
Atleti
born to
fans,
play for
posting
Atleti.
with Atleti gear for the last I don't know 10, 15 years. I mean, you have to make those recruits. It's like this kid was born to play for Atlético Madrid. I was talking about Javi Gomara the other day, and I feel like I'm bragging about friends a little bit, but I'm pretty lucky with my friends. I'm in a WhatsApp chat group with Javi Gomara is in that group, but also Fran Guillen.
Yeah.
He's a narrator for the Zone,
Shout
and
out Fran.
he narrates Atlético Madrid quite often. He was begging for Almada to join Atlético Madrid in 2020. He reminded us of a message he posted when he was a Vélez player. So imagine how happy
Wow.
that guy is. He's on cloud 9
Oh,
right now,
wow.
because Almada's just gotten better and better, and he's landed a spot as a starter for Argentina. And that's quite the feat.
Which is,
Uh,
Messi's still an active player for the national team. That's pretty impressive.
yes, so I can imagine his role being very important uh, for for the team, and I just can't wait. I think that we've signed 4 players, and 3 look like undoubted starters right now. That's a huge
It's huge.
advantage because it's right before the preseason starts, not during the preseason, not when you're 1 week away from the first Liga match. My biggest worries right now are the defenders. Who's going to come, especially now that one of the candidates is out of the picture. Hanko signed a deal and is moving to Al Nassr, if I'm not mistaken, with the team he's moving
Nope,
to.
that's right.
And I don't know, it's like the glass half empty, glass half full. Are we a little bit blinded by the great Euro Cup that he played? Maybe he's not that caliber of player because there haven't been that many offers for him. I think he was a good bargain. He was a good player that was willing to come to the team last season already, and it just hasn't come to fruition. But I would have liked Franco to be one of the defenders. Right now, I'm afraid that making the short list even shorter is probably going to lower the possibilities of landing 2 central defenders. I'm
Yeah.
not very positive, very optimistic about that happening.
It
And
seems like they're going to sign one, and if there's an unexpected exit, quote unquote, then they can add a second one. But it seems like they're going to add
there's
one.
that unexpected expected exit, if they're just going to pull on the Mourinho card, because the feeling you get is that they just have that lingering there in case they need it.
Unless
And
Mourinho opts to go somewhere else, unless he's offered a starting role somewhere else in Alaves, because he's an Alaves player. Alaves to sell him.
yeah,
You don't want to
Well-
lose sight of Mourinho, whether Simeone feels he's ready or not. You don't want to lose sight of him. It's just good
I just
future
think it's
proofing.
good to have a young central defender on your squad that you've brought for very low cost. I'm not gonna say he's homegrown, but you've had him in your radar for a very long time.
Mhm.
And you can always decide after a season or 2 whether he's a fit or if you need to move on from him. But I'm I'm mostly worried, and I'm still bewildered with the Langlais signing. I really don't know how that fits the long-term plans of the club.
It doesn't. It was
It
just such a
feels like
weird deal.
you're stuck with a player for 3 full seasons that it feels very, very unlikely that you can get more than one good season out of him.
Yeah.
And he's just not the he's just not the top-notch defender that you need right now.
Even as a squad player, it's just so easy to have doubts with him. The first few months last year were great, like made me eat my words about him. But then the old Lenglet, so to speak, returned, and just all these mistakes, all these penalties given away, these positional errors. It was like I've used this comparison before, but it was like watching Mario Hermoso play again. And I liked Mario, kind of a cult hero around these parts.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I was very, very happy to move on. I did.
Yeah,
I just didn't like
in the end, yes, so was I, but he was just too wild.
I'm not into his antics, which is the same reason why I'm not going to mourn if Rodrigo de Paul moves on from Atlético Madrid. It's just the same style of, I don't know, I don't like the sideshow. I want the player to be remembered for his play. I don't want the player to be remembered for the off-field theatricals that Mario Hermoso was such a big expert in bringing to the table.
Nahuel Molina, Ricky, is in the news again. Speaking of players who could be on the exit ramp,
again. We're back to the chopping block.
A potential loan to Villarreal? Question mark. A potential return to Italy to bring in Jesus Arezo from Osasuna.
That would be a phenomenal swap.
Phenomenal, you say? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm thinking because a loan deal could reinstate what Molina seems to be lacking. He's a World Cup winner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not a nobody, but he's played like a nobody at times for Atlético Madrid. So I don't know. I've seen this case of it used to be Calderonitis. The weight of the stadium, the weight of the shirt was too much for the player. I guess it's called Metropolitanitis or something like that, where some players just underperform when they're wearing the red and white shirt, and they just lose confidence in their game, and they're just cooked, and they're unable to perform in this on and off status that they gain after they lose the confidence as starters. And I've never seen Molina, except for that small stint right before the World Cup, be a reliable asset for Atlético Madrid. I've always seen him more as on the liability column for Atlético Madrid. I was never too happy to see him subbing onto the pitch. And as a starter, I don't have great trust in the player. But if he goes on a loan spell and he does a great job and he regains his confidence, there are two avenues that become wide open there. One is a potential sale, and the other one is a potential return. He's still part of the pack because he's Argentinian. He can always be reinstated in the Argentinian land that the Metropolitano has become. He's the player that Atletico can still get more out of him, but I'm not very optimistic if he just stays on the squad that he will be able to recover his game and confidence in his style and his possibilities.
Needs a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Just so badly needs a change of scenery. You know, the fan abuse toward him has been overboard at times, but
you know what, a friend texted me when they announced Almada's signing with the astronaut video and all that.
Which I love those, by the way. Those are great.
Yeah, my friend texted me the video and said he went up for a Molina ball. One of the balls that Molina crushed, it got stranded up there. Somebody had to go get it.
Oh, damn it.
You know, the
Thiago
world of
Almada's
memes
going to get
don't
it.
never disappoint.
So I generally would be in favor of swapping Molina for Arezo. I don't think Jesus Arezo is an amazing player, but he would fill this role pretty admirably.
Yeah.
And you know what? We do have history recruiting a right back from Osasuna, and that player going on to perform pretty well in Atletico colors.
He wasn't a right back then. He was a
Oh
winger.
yeah, he was more of a winger. He was a pure winger back
He
then.
was a winger. In fact, he played as a forward for Real Madrid.
He did.
You're talking about Juanfran, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Very very much so.
Because,
Our boy.
There are two quintessential signings from Osasuna besides Javier Aguirre, the coach. That would be Raul Garcia and Juanfran. Yeah. Those would be
Rulo
the
came from
two
there.
big signings coming from Osasuna to Atlético Madrid. Have really made a name for themselves.
Two more quick hitters, Ricky, and then we're going to get on out of here. Saúl Ñíguez and Tomo Lema are still here on the eve of preseason. And if Atletico get those two players off the wage bill, there could be more signings. They're very difficult players to remove from the wage bill. Saúl's case just continues to be heartbreaking to me. He was, I think, my favorite player in the squad in 2016, 2017, 2018. Love the guy. Still do, but obviously it's been a very difficult past 5 years for him. There are reports that he could move to Turkey. Trabzonspor have made an offer for him, which Atletico would love because he would leave on a free transfer. He would terminate his contract, get rid of his wages. Lema, we spoke to the Atleti Fanatics guys about Lema on their show. Played all of 120 minutes or so last season, give or take. I think it might be a little bit more than that. But Lyon apparently are interested in him. Probably another deal we can do with John Texter, our old pal. How do you see the situation for these two out of favor midfielders?
Talking about dead money, I was looking up while you were talking how much money that's on the payroll. Saúl is the second most paid player, second highest paid player on the squad. He's making 12 million euros.
I thought it was 12 to 14, and his net salary is like 7 million.
Yeah. Lemar got a huge pay cut when he resigned. He's like 3 million euros in the books. It's like 15 million altogether. So it's especially terrible in terms of lowering your possibilities of signing players because you have to account for those two salaries. Sevilla took, I think, 50% hit on Saúl's salary and paid for around 6 million of those 12 million euros last season. It's going to be difficult to find teams that will accept these players unless they come in very favorable conditions. How can you cut Saúl loose, owing him that amount of cash? He's due that amount of cash for this season, so I can see Atletico, for example, doing a Vitolo. It's trademarked as doing a Vitolo. Maybe re-signing him to a 2-year deal, restructuring the contract into various payments, taking 6 million as a hit for the following season, paying the player 6 million and just letting him go, or maybe asking the player to take a 2 or 3 million cut and kick the can down the road and accept some dead money on that. But that shows that the renewal of Saúl's contract was a huge mistake that's still biting you in the ass so many years later. It's such a pity because Saúl was such a promising player. He just let go of the drive to improve. He was set to become heir to Coque's legacy and be another one club man right behind the captain. But Saúl has always had a problem, which is his family are behind his representation. And normally families that have a football history, his dad was a professional player for Elche, normally do well in other generations. You just have to see the Llorentes, for example. They do very well. But in the case of the Ñíguez family, they have been ill-advised by their father repetitively. Elche is like Saúl's second home. He has a tattoo of a blend between an Atleti badge and an Elche one. And Elche want nothing to do with the Ñíguez family. They vetoed any possible return of Saúl to Elche now that they were getting promoted, and that was like a natural fit for them.
Right.
Because of a misled deal with a brother that brought a lot of debt to Elche and was one of the reasons why Elche was in a difficult spot in terms of their finances in the past. So there's been history with that. Getting rid of Rodrigo de Paul is another 6.5 million off your books. Conor Gallagher, what's going to happen there?
Gallagher has a huge salary. I think does he have the third highest salary on the squad?
9 million.
Yeah, they gave him an enormous salary to come over from Chelsea, which was a shock. I'm of two minds on Gallagher, man. Like we spoke last week about how these new signings, Beren and Almada, Johnny Cardoso, like they are coming in and they're probably all going to be starters. Pablo Barrios is a starter. Where is that going to leave Conor Gallagher? On the other hand, depending on how Simeone sees the formation this year, for example, I think Julian Alvarez is going to play as a lone striker. I think we're going to see that. So there could be a scenario where we play a 4-2-3-1 and you get to play Gallagher in a double pivot where he thrived at Chelsea. It doesn't seem like Gallagher is angling to leave or pushing to leave. But as you said last week, Ricky, if this situation is not definitively, I guess, clarified, right, in December, if Gallagher is not getting playing time, we're going to have an issue here. And it's going to be like a Kieran Trippier quick sail to England.
It feels like we're at the end of the transfer market, but we're actually midway through.
Yeah, we have 40-something days left.
And I think the preseason training camp is going to really make a difference in terms of players feeling if they have a spot or they have no place in the team, and looking to see if they can rekindle their situation somewhere else. I think that in the case of Gallagher, the proximity of the World Cup is going to be a decisive factor.
Yeah, I just can't escape that feeling either, man. I just can't escape that idea that he's gonna get to play for England at the World Cup. Who knows how many more of these chances you get in your career? I know he's 25 going on 26, but you just never know. Saúl Ñíguez had the world at his feet 7-8 years ago. Look what happened to him.
Yeah.
You just never know in this game.
Yeah. And Moldovan is moving on from Atlético Madrid. We haven't talked about that player. The feeling is that Atlético Madrid is managing their exits and signings favorably. I was recording Maneras de Vivir a couple of days ago, and a common impression that the rest of the panel had, I didn't share it that much, and I wanted to share that opinion with you, maybe get your take on this, was that Atlético de Madrid was overpaying a little bit for their signings, and to pay at this price, the signings that you were getting, you really didn't need a sports director, you just needed a checkbook. And I don't know if I fully agree with that, because I think that Atlético de Madrid has managed to pounce on some bargains, and I just think that the market is just much more expensive than we would like it to be, but that's how it goes sometimes, and the market just works a little bit with sudden bursts in prices. The only time I've ever seen salaries and the price tag for players go down was during the COVID crisis, where teams were extremely cash strapped, and there was like this new resetting of team finances. But other than that, I think that Atletico is operating fairly well within a complicated situation, and getting many of their expected targets signed. I'm kind of okay with the signing that Atlético de Madrid has done. I would give the sports direction a B+, now that we're into grades so much.
Yeah, this is Carlos Butero's first full summer in charge. Last summer, he had this weird kind of arrangement with Andrea Berta, who was still here. Berta now at Arsenal.
he did get rid of Morata and Joao Felix that seemed unsellable and something that was very difficult to move on from.
Yeah. For his next act, he has to get rid of Saúl and Lema. That's his next wizarding act.
That would be the crowning of the king. You know that Buffetta's a terrible Madridista. He's like,
yes, he is
number one Madridista.
Some of the fans found his claim to fame was negotiating the Ronaldo deal, the Cristiano Ronaldo deal.
He used to work for Mijatovic, so that just tells you everything that you need to know.
I remember a few months ago when some of the fans on Twitter found his old Hala Madrid tweets, and that was a bad few days. But speaking from Marcos Llorente. Marcos Llorente is a player with a Real Madrid past, and we've talked about Llorente as a true professional, I'd say one of the leaders of the dressing room, perhaps. Buffetta is doing, I think, a very professional job here. This is his job as the director of football at Atlético Madrid. On 4 signings this summer, not including bonuses or variables or any of that, Atletico have spent 108 million euros to sign Matteo Ruggeri, Alex Baena, Johnny Cardoso, Thiago Almada. That's about 25 million a deal, average, give or take.
Yeah.
That's very reasonable. We got Baena at a really good price, man, at 45 million euros, up front for an elite playmaker. Johnny Cardoso, I think, was a deal done on relatively favorable terms. He could have been sold for 30 to 35 million to another market. Ruggeri is, I think, a little below market value. Who am I forgetting? Almada, you paid for 50% of his rights instead of 100. That would have been your second most expensive signing of the summer had you paid for 100% of his rights. So I think these are pretty reasonable deals, and it's important because the job, I think, is still only half done, Ricky. Several more players need to leave before the window shuts in 40-something days, and 3 or 4 more players need to come in. This team is still missing the dribbler, the famed dribbler that we've been talking about for most of the summer. You're missing at least 1 center back. Yeah, you're missing.
You're betting on 3 or 4. That's a lot.
I would bet on 2 more coming in. I think it's fair to say 2 more.
And it becomes 1 or 2 players short of the real need.
Every summer.
So
I'm hoping this summer will be different.
Maybe now that you're saying 3 or 4, you're actually going to have to settle with 1 or 2.
Can I edit this out of the show right now as we're recording so that no one hears it? But I would say 2 to be safe, 2, and I'm hoping for 3, maybe even 4. Fingers crossed, man.
I mean, in all logic, it should be 4, just because of the number of players that you need to dress every weekend and carry out training sessions and plan ahead for the unexpected and the injuries and players that get suspended and all that. Just for those purposes, you need more. You need bodies. You need more bodies, and you might as well get 23-year-old bodies that are rather good at playing football. That would be the ideal situation.
That's ideal.
Well, we're looking for a few more 23-year-old bodies to fill the training camp for Atlético Madrid for next week.
Yes, apply within.
Yes, exactly.
Well, the next time we talk to you guys, it will be preseason for 2025-26. This is our first full season doing the show. Really excited about what that is going to entail. So, Ricky, same time next week, give or take?
Yeah, the plan is for Atlético Madrid. Let me tell you, I got the insider information from the pundits that are going to have to spend hours under the sun in Los Angeles, San Rafael. Players are going back for medical checkups on Monday morning. They're going to head out to this Segovia town called Los Angeles San Rafael. It's a very dark story connected to the Hill family. That's where the preseason stage of the training camp will take place for around 12 to 13 days. And then they're expected back in Majadahonda. They should be there during the first full week. And depending on what happens with the rest of the friendlies and whether there are more dates put into that, the San Rafael stage can be cut short or can be extended a couple of days more. There's always a tradition of eating a roasted piglet. I don't know if you've ever seen those images at the end in Segovia, at a place called Casa Arevalo. Very traditional Spanish tradition where the new players have to chop up a piglet, a roasted piglet, with a plate and throw the plate. It's part of the tradition, and smash it on the ground as if it was a vodka shot glass.
Yeah. I see those pictures each year, and it's always a little jarring. But it's tradition.
Yeah, very brutal tradition. Delicious dish. Not so nice to see it up close.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself, man. All right, we're going to leave it there for That Atleti Podcast this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks again to Pete from Glorious Botafogo for coming on. We'll catch you all next week from Preseason. Alp Atleti. Adios.